responsible pet care and working with at-risk youth groups. The Friday before Earth Day this year, Beautify CNMI partners coordinated an island-wide cleanup on the island of Saipan with the participation of over 4,100 volunteers, the largest cleanup endeavor ever in the Northern Mariana Islands. I had the pleasure of joining this cleanup during the last district work period. The second group I would like to recognize is Friends of the Monument. The Friends of the Monument was formed to help promote the idea of creating a national marine monument in the waters surrounding the three northernmost islands of the Northern Mariana Islands and over the Marianas Trench, the deepest known place in the world's oceans. And they were successful. President Bush designated the area as a national marine monument on January 6 of this year. The monument designation was controversial in the Northern Mariana Islands. But whatever one stands in the controversy, there is no argument that the Friends of the Monument is the model for what is a dedicated group of volunteers can accomplish. The Friends of the Monument engage in countless hours of outreach and education activities to teach the community about the idea of the monument. They created and distributed leaflets, held meetings, and conducted classroom presentations. These activities gave the public an opportunity to learn about the proposed monument, to ask questions, and to express concerns. Ultimately, the Friends of the Monument were successful in their efforts. These efforts are commendable, no matter what one's view of the monument itself, because they demonstrate what can be done by dedicated members of the public and encourage others in the community to participate in issues that affect them. The Friends of the Monument was featured on NBC Nightly News during Green Week. They also recently were recognized by the Environmental Protection Agency with an environmental award. I am glad to highlight their efforts here today, and I am very proud to acknowledge their accomplishments. And I yield back the remainder of my time.
Mr. Moran from Kansas. For what purpose does the gentleman from Kansas rise?
I ask to address the House and revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman from Kansas is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yesterday, the House passed the Local Law Enforcement Hate Crimes Prevention Act, H.R. 1913. The bill reminds me of a passage from George Orwell's book, Animal Farm, where he wrote, "All animals are equal. Some animals are more equal than others." Under this legislation, all people are equal. Some people are more equal than others. This bill attempts to create a new class of people with a new category of punishment that is determined by the thoughts and words as well as other actions. It's based on the premise of a hate crime. A hate crime. If one assumes there is hate crimes, isn't it logical to assume that there's just the opposite, love crimes? Well, the concept of love crimes doesn't hold, and neither the concept of a special class of citizens created by hate crimes. But it is true that crimes are committed, and if you are a victim of crime, whether it is motivated by hate, greed, envy, or whatever the driving force is, you as a victim deserve equal justice under the law. Equal justice under the law is an old and very well accepted concept in America, where we are a nation of equals, a nation of men and women who bow to no man, to no king. We should expect equal treatment under the law, equal justice. This legislation places into the judicial system and into the hands of a jury the determination of the thoughts of the criminal and the responsibility to determine, were these actions different if the victim has a certain sexual orientation. However, the term sexual orientation is not defined. This is very vague. But the term gender identity is defined as actual or perceived gender-related characteristics. Perceived. This is also very vague. In fact, the whole legislation is so vague that a minister today, reading aloud the book of Corinthians from the New Testament, could be prosecuted because it could be perceived as inciting violence. Whatever happened to free speech in the First Amendment? The amendments could have been offered to clarify some of the passages, but were rejected by the Democrats. Amendments were offered in the Judiciary Committee to extend special victim status to veterans, the elderly, and pregnant women. All were rejected. No amendments